America, powerful, influential, and controversial. While millions admire the US, some countries, not so much. From political clashes to cultural differences, these 10 nations have strong reasons to dislike Americans. But which country holds the strongest grudge? Stay till the end to find out, because the #1 spot might just shock you. Alright, let's kick things off with our friends across the pond, the connoisseurs of fine wine, cheese, and apparently, a healthy dose of lassi whenever an American tourist tries to order a Big Mac in broken French. Look, France, we get it. You value subtlety, nuance, and a certain je ne sais quoi that we Yanks with our fanny packs and white sneakers seem to bulldoze over like a runaway baguette delivery truck. But it's not just about the cultural faux pas. Deep down, beneath that perfectly tailored beret lies a simmering resentment, a sort of, you haven't called since the revolution, and frankly your foreign policy is giving me indigestion kind of vibe. From disagreements over war policies to the whole leader of the free world thing, let's just say the French haven't exactly been sending us love letters, and the Iraq war, let's just say that didn't exactly help matters. Imagine trying to enjoy a leisurely lunch while your friend loudly explains their questionable life choices to the entire restaurant in broken French. Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. But hey, it's a complicated relationship, much like a fine Bordeaux. There's a lot of history there, some good, some bad, and a whole lot of passive-aggressive eye-rolling. Still, we can all agree that freedom fries were a low point. Seriously, America, what were we thinking? Okay, strap in folks, because we're heading into a geopolitical minefield with this one. Iran and the US, two countries whose relationship status could best be described as it's complicated, with a healthy dose of avoid at all costs thrown in for good measure. We're talking decades of tension, sanctions that would make a banker sweat, and enough military posturing to make even the most battle-hardened general reach for a stress ball. From the hostage crisis in 1979 to the more recent nuclear deal drama, it's been a roller coaster ride of animosity, and let's not forget the cultural clashes. Imagine trying to explain the appeal of a Bud Light Super Bowl commercial to someone who considers American pop culture the equivalent of a spiritual root canal. Yeah, it's that kind of vibe. So, are you surprised that Americans aren't exactly greeted with open arms in Iran? It's like showing up to a family reunion wearing a t-shirt emblazoned with your ex's face on it. Awkward, to say the least. Ah, China, the land of ancient history, delicious dumplings, and a rapidly growing economy that has America feeling a tad, well, threatened. It's like watching your younger sibling suddenly become a titan of industry, while you're stuck trying to figure out how to change your email password. We're talking trade wars, tech disputes, and enough geopolitical maneuvering to make a chess grandmaster break out in a cold sweat. It's the ultimate 21st century showdown, with each side trying to outmaneuver the other on the world stage. And let's not forget the whole human rights issue, which, let's be honest, is like the elephant in the room that everyone pretends isn't there. It makes for some pretty uncomfortable conversations, especially when you're trying to enjoy a plate of Peking duck. So, yeah, tensions are running high, and it's not just about who makes the best smartphones anymore. It's about global dominance, economic influence, and the future of, well, everything. So, the next time you see Made in China on your latest gadget, just remember, there's a whole lot more going on behind the scenes than meets the eye. Chapter 4 Turkey, Sun, Sand, and a Side of Suspicion. Turkey, a land of stunning landscapes, rich history, and a government that's about as fond of US foreign policy as a cat is of a bath. Sure, on the surface, it's all beautiful beaches, ancient ruins, and delicious kebabs, but beneath that idyllic facade lies a simmering tension, a sort of we appreciate the tourism dollars, but could you please stop meddling in our affairs kind of vibe. From disagreements over the Syrian conflict to Turkey's increasingly cozy relationship with Russia, let's just say things haven't exactly been peachy between Ankara and Washington. Remember that whole incident with the Turkish security forces roughing up American protesters? Yeah, not exactly the best look for international relations. And then there's the whole issue of freedom of the press, or lack thereof, which, let's face it, is about as popular with the US as a vegan barbecue. It's a complex situation, fraught with historical baggage, geopolitical maneuvering, and enough cultural differences to make a diplomat's head spin. Chapter 5 Russia, from Cold War to ice-cold relations. Russia, the land of vodka, borscht, and a government that seems to view the US with the same warmth as a Siberian winter. We're talking decades of mistrust, espionage, and enough nuclear warheads to make even the most jaded cynic lose a night's sleep. From the Cold War to the annexation of Crimea, election-meddling accusations to cyber attacks, it's been a long and frosty relationship with very few signs of thawing. And let's not forget the whole propaganda war thing, with each side painting the other as the ultimate villain in a real-life geopolitical thriller. So yeah, Americans aren't exactly greeted with open arms in Russia these days. It's more like a suspicious squint, a muttered Amerikansky, and a healthy dose of side-eye. Chapter 6. North Korea. The Hermit Kingdom's American Grudge. North Korea, the land of, well, we don't actually know much about North Korea, do we? It's like a black hole of information, shrouded in secrecy, propaganda, and enough military parades to make even the most ardent communist blush. But one thing we do know is that they really don't like America. We're talking Supreme Leader giving fiery speeches about the evils of American imperialism levels of dislike. They even have their own calendar that starts with the birth of Kim Il-sung because who needs Anno Domini when you have the eternal presence of the great leader? And don't even think about trying to sneak in a copy of the interview. You're more likely to find yourself being interrogated in a windowless room than enjoying Seth Rogen's comedic stylings. Chapter 7. Venezuela, a country blessed with incredible natural beauty, a vibrant culture, and a government that seems to blame America for pretty much everything, including bad hair days and the common cold. Okay, maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but not by much. From accusations of economic sabotage to meddling in their internal affairs, the Venezuelan government has turned the United States into a convenient scapegoat for all their problems. It's like blaming your dog for eating your homework, even though you know you left it within paw's reach. And the United States hasn't exactly helped matters with its history of intervention in Latin America. Let's just say that the Monroe Doctrine hasn't exactly aged well, and it's left a bitter taste in the mouths of many Venezuelans. Chapter 8. Iraq, a nation steeped in ancient history, home to the cradle of civilization and still reeling from the effects of a US-led invasion that, let's just say, didn't exactly go according to plan. Remember those mission accomplished banners? Yeah, about that. The Iraq War left deep scars, not just on the landscape but on the psyche of the Iraqi people. While some may appreciate the US efforts to topple Saddam Hussein, many others see America as an occupying force, responsible for the chaos and instability that followed. And let's not forget the whole weapons of mass destruction debacle, which turned out to be about as real as a unicorn riding a dragon. It's enough to make you wonder if the Bush administration got its intelligence from a fortune cookie factory. Chapter 9. Pakistan, a nation of breathtaking mountains, vibrant cities, and a government that's engaged in a delicate dance with the US, a dance that often resembles a tango on a tightrope over a pit of vipers. On the one hand, Pakistan has been a key ally in the war on terror, providing logistical support and intelligence. On the other hand, they've also been accused of harboring terrorists, playing both sides of the fence, and generally making life difficult for American policymakers. It's a relationship built on shaky foundations with a healthy dose of mistrust on both sides. Add in the drone strikes, the Osama bin Laden raid, and the ever-present threat of nuclear proliferation, and you've got a recipe for diplomatic indigestion. Chapter 10. And here we are at our number one spot, the country that currently holds the title for most likely to give America the cold shoulder, Afghanistan. After 2 decades of war, trillions of dollars spent, and countless lives lost, the US pulled out of Afghanistan in a chaotic withdrawal that left many Afghans feeling betrayed and abandoned. Imagine investing everything you have in a relationship, only to have your partner pack their bags and disappear in the middle of the night, leaving you with nothing but a pile of unanswered questions and a broken heart. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened here. The images of Afghans desperately clinging to departing US planes spoke volumes about the shattered trust and broken promises that define this tumultuous chapter in history. The Taliban's swift takeover only added insult to injury, leaving many to wonder what, if anything, the past 2 decades of American involvement had actually achieved. So, yeah, it's safe to say that America's popularity in Afghanistan is currently hovering somewhere around non-existent. And frankly, who can blame them? So there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of 10 countries where America's welcome mat has been rolled up, put in storage, and possibly set on fire. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Understanding why these countries harbor negative views towards the US is the first step towards building bridges, fostering dialogue, and maybe, just maybe, earning back a bit of that international goodwill. Or, we could just keep doing what we're doing and see how that works out. But hey, who are we to judge? We're just a bunch of comedy writers trying to make sense of the world, one awkwardly placed joke at a time. So, what do you think? Were you surprised by any of these? Or do you think another country should have made the list? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video eye-opening, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications for more global insights. See you in the next one.